Howdy howdy, this is Crafty Grinding, back again with Arena Cutoff video for Marvel Contest of Champions. Today I cover Round 1 results and Round 2 predictions for the Gambit and Kingpin arenas. So let's first take a look at Round 1 results. You can see that the 5-star feature Gambit came in at 23 million with a top 10% shard tier coming in at 10.5 million. And you can take a look at the 4-star feature Gambit arena that came in at 5.6 million cutoff with a top 10% cutoff for the shard tier at 4.1 million. Then lastly, when we look at the Kingpin 4-star basic arena, that cutoff came in for Kingpin at 2.34 million with 11 to 25% tier at 1.5 million. Then when we take a look at the 3-star feature arena, you can see that Gambit's cutoff was at 657,000 with the 11 to 25,000 shard tier coming in at 400 and, or I should say 11 to 25% shard tier coming in at 423,000. So when I compare these round 1 results, these actuals to my predictions, you can see that for the most part they were in that 10% range, with some of them almost being spot on, like the 4-star basic Gambit at 5.5 when the actual was at 5.6, and then the 675,000 3-star feature was real close to the 657. The other two, while they were off a bit, they were still within that 10% ranges, which is what I always target. So for the most part, these predictions are close, which is a good sign, meaning that things are starting to stabilize a bit within the arena structure, or I should say within the arena cutoffs now with this new structure of the 5-star arena. So a couple more samples, arena samples coming through, and we should have just enough data that I can continue with a pretty confident trend analysis moving forward. So speaking of moving forward, let's start taking a look at round 2 by taking a look at some trends, starting first with the 5-star feature arena. You can see that throwing out that first round Jane Foster cutoff, for the most part the cutoffs for the old champs like Jane Foster, Storm, and in this case Gambit have been around that 2 million to 20 million to 23 million range, with these numbers slightly going up. So and you can see between round 1 and round 2 there was an increase last time for Storm, and there was definitely that increase for Jane Foster, but you kind of throw that out. So I think we can kind of expect a bump between round 1 and round 2 for Gambit, and I think these numbers will continue to go up. You can see that trend. The question will be, where will they kind of plateau out? Hopefully around 24-25 million. We don't go much farther or any closer to that 30 million marker for old champs. And when it comes to the top 10% and 11% shard tiers, you can see the gray line and the orange line there. You can see that they're starting to plateau out a bit around the 10 million mark, 10.5 million mark for the top 10%, and with the 11% shard tier right around 5.5 million. Now jumping over to the 4-star feature arena, you can see between round 1 and round 2 there's a bump with that gradual increase over time. You can see that between the round 1 results for that 5.1 for Jane Foster to 5.2 for Storm, and now 5.5 for Gambit. So there's just general increase of these numbers getting higher, with always in each case round 2 going higher. So I think we can see again we'll get above that 6 million marker again with Gambit. Now when it comes to the shard tiers, you can see it's still going up a little bit, that top 10% here most recently around 4 million, but it looks like it might be plateauing a bit. But with the 11% shard tier, it's clearly plateauing around that 1.5 number, which is a milestone reward, which makes sense. So people get to that 1.5 million milestone reward and kind of stop it, and they've been fortunate enough to get around that 11% shard tier, which is good news, because before the 5-star feature arena was available, those numbers were closer between 2 to 2.5 million. So if anything, one of the impacts it's the addition of the 5-star arena has had is the lowering of the cutoff for the shard tiers, which is a good thing, of course. And then we look at the 4-star basic arena. You can see between round 1 and round 2 for most of the champs that are kind of similar in this order to not highly sought after champs. Even Dr. Octopus, he went from 2 million to 2.3, so there was an increase. Now Agent Venom did go down a little bit, but I think when looking to Kingpin, we can compare his arena more closely to Dr. Octopus, because both this is the first time as a basic champ and haven't been in the game a ton. Like Agent Venom and Electro have been around for a while, whereas in the case with Kingpin and Dr. Octopus, they're relatively new to the game. At least this is their first 4-star basic arena, so we can expect probably similar bump between round 1 and round 2 for Kingpin. And lastly, looking at the 3-star feature arena for Gambit, you can see that these are pretty consistent numbers now. Between round 1 and round 2 there's a jump, but in the most part round 1 numbers have been very very similar from 655 to 651, now 657. So I think we can expect a similar bump for round 2 when it comes to Gambit. And you can see that 11 to 25% shard here is kind of balancing out, plateauing down around 425,000. So with all these trends in mind, let's jump into my round 2 rough estimates. I'm still calling them estimates because, as I said earlier in this video, I still don't have enough samples, statistically significant samples, to really get to a point where the confidence level goes high enough on this. But we're getting close. I mean, things are beginning to stabilize. You saw that in some of the trends there. So feeling better and better about these estimates every time, even though you know, we're getting that 5-star feature arena has been added to the situation. So anyway, starting first with my round 2 prediction for the 5-star feature Gambit, you can see the cutoff. I think that'll be around 24 million with the top 10% at 10.5 million. Jumping over to the 4-star feature Gambit, I think his cutoff will be around 6.1 million this time with the top 10% around 4.1 million. I think for Kingpin, his numbers will go up a bit to around 2.4, maybe even 2.5 million will be the cutoff, with 11 to 25% around 1.6 million, with the top 10% cutoff with a 3-star feature at 700,000, with 11 to 25% shard tier at 450,000. And these predictions are for the veterans bracket. And these are the cutoffs. These are the numbers where I actually think it'll cut off. So keep in mind, I'm trying to get within 10%. So if these happen to be lower by 10%, you always want to give yourself a little soft cushion, which is why I always give a grind target, which is always kind of covers those situations where if I'm within 10%, but on the low side, you'll still should be fine with these grind targets. So if you really want Gambit, go to at least 25 million. That top 10% around shard tier for 11 million. Jumping over to the 4-star feature, if you really want that Gambit, the 4-star Gambit, go to 6.5 million with the top 10% at 4.4 million. If you really want that 4-star Kingpin, go to 2.6 million with the 1.7 million for that shard tier. And then for the 3-star feature Gambit, go to 725,000 with the 11 to 25% shard tier around 475,000. Again, these grind targets are for the veterans bracket. If you have a newer account or new to the game, the veterans bracket, you don't belong to those yet. For the first 30 days, you're in the beginners bracket. From 31 to 60 days, you're in the intermediate bracket. And unfortunately, there's not a ton of data, historical cutoff data for these brackets. So this information is just some really rough ranges based off of my own personal experience, as well as input, random input from the community from time to time. But again, not only is it not only don't I have enough statistically significant examples or samples to base the trends off of, but there's a lot of volatility in terms of the number of people that are actually playing these arenas, because people move from beginners bracket to intermediate bracket and so on all the time. So it's really hard to get a good number for these. So keep that in mind. These are just really rough numbers. Starting first with the beginners bracket, you get the 3-star feature around 245,000, the 4-star basic at 750, the 4-star feature at 1.2 million. Then jumping to the intermediate bracket, the 3-star feature at 525,000, and the 4-star basic at 1 million, with the 4-star feature at 1.2 million. Now, for all of these numbers are just my opinion, you know, doing my own little trend analysis from the data that I shared with you earlier. So would love to hear your thoughts. Throw it on down in the comment section. We can talk about it there. If you have any questions, throw it down there. I'd be happy to discuss those questions with you in the comment section as well. Especially love to hear if you have any difference of opinion. Throw it on down in the comment section, and we can talk that there too. Other than that, if you enjoyed watching this video, I would really appreciate if you click that thumbs up button. And if you like this and other videos I have on the channel, would really appreciate a subscribe. Thanks a lot for stopping by, and have a great day.